Welcome back. I'm visiting here today with Sramana Mitra, and welcome to today's show.
Thank you for having me, Alan. It's great to be here.
So you've done a lot of things in your life, but I'd like to start with bringing the listeners up to date of your career path or history from school, MIT graduate.
Well, I grew up in India, in pre-liberalization India, and that was a long time ago, through the 70s and 80s. And then I came to America for college and then university. So I went to Smith College for undergraduate, computer science and economics. I had a passion for economics as well, but computer science was my main area of work. And then I went to MIT for grad school. While I was at MIT, this thing called the internet happened. And if you remember, the commercial internet is 1994 when Netscape went public. The world kind of changed. And I was at MIT. I started a company in 1994. I was in the PhD program, and I left MIT in 95 to do the company full time. I took my master's, did not stay for the PhD, and just went on to swim in the dot-com boom of the 90s, mid-90s. I did one company after another as founder CEO, so 3 companies by the end of that decade, and then the market crashed. So that paused that phase of my life, and I started doing other things at that point.
So so bringing us up to speed, what are you working on now in the?
So 10 years after that, so 2000 is when the dot-com crash. I spent 10 years consulting and writing and so forth, and in 2010, I started a company called 1 Million by 1 Million, which is my 4th company. And that is the first and only global virtual accelerator for startups in the world. And 1 Million by 1 Million, our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. That is the mission of our work. And we run it from Silicon Valley with a global footprint. And we cater to helping entrepreneurs get their act together and put one foot before the other.
So when you started this, I'll call it a project, as you're looking at putting entrepreneurs on the map and enabling them to get to the next level, did you see a gap in the market of
Yes.
filling that in? And
Yes. Remember I said I consulted for 10 years
Yeah.
before starting my 4th company, 1 Million by 1 Million. And that was a time when I was consulting on all sides of the technology ecosystem. I was working for big companies. I was working with VCs, entrepreneurs trying to raise money, turnarounds, all kinds of things. And in that immersion process, one of my observations was that over 99% of the companies that are looking to raise venture capital get rejected. And they get rejected for good reason. They get rejected because they don't fit the requirement of the venture capital model, which is hyper fast growth and hyper large market size, market opportunity. Very few companies fit that model. Going from 0 to $100 million in revenue in 5 to 7 years is incredibly difficult. It's an anomaly, not a regularity.
Mhm.
So, hundreds of thousands of companies are not going to get there. So that was the gap that I observed, is that all the accelerators, all the incubators, accelerators, and there are many of those. At that time, there were 7,500 to 8,000 of those. Now there are more. There are probably more than 10,000 of those. They're all trying to act as feeders into the venture capital ecosystem. They all want their portfolio companies to raise money. And I thought that was arithmetically flawed.
There are organizations out there like Kickstarters and the crowdfunders. How does your organization compare to those?
We're not a crowdfunding platform at all.
Okay.
We are primarily an educational and mentoring platform. So we have a full online curriculum, and we do a case study based program. So we have over 800 successful case studies of entrepreneurs who have built big companies, small companies, various kinds of companies in various kinds of ways. We have like 50 plus unicorn entrepreneurs, 400 plus venture funded companies, 300 plus bootstrapped entrepreneurs. And that's the body of work on which the whole curriculum is based. It's entirely case study based. So that's how we teach, and then we mentor. people on their projects. So people can learn methodology through the curriculum, and then mentoring is online mentoring, online roundtables. And then we have a tremendous Rolodex. So we introduce our entrepreneurs to whether it's potential customers, channel partners, investors, media, analysts, other advisors, whoever can help them in their journey. That's the program. So we don't fund, and we don't run a crowdfunding platform either. But we do have a large community of investors who work with us, whom we introduce our entrepreneurs to if they're fundable, only if they're fundable. Not everybody is fundable, as I said.
I'm visiting here today with Sramana Mitra, and she is the founder of 1 Million by 1 Million. I need to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Grandpa, can we do chemistry? Papa, Daddy. Grandpa, let's do something fun.
We'll help you stay organized so you can focus on what really matters in life. Give us a call today and see how we can help you start saving taxes. Welcome back. I'm visiting here today with Sramana Mitra, and she is the founder of 1 Million by 1 Million. And in the first segment, we talked about how your company came about, which is more, I put it more of a project because it's more of a mentorship. Or
it's a company, it's a business. It's not a nonprofit, it's not a project, it's a company.
Okay, well, let's talk about the revenue model. Okay, we have a new company coming in and they say, hey, we need some mentorship or assistance. Yeah. How do they go about the process of becoming part of your organization?
So the first touch point is we ourselves run a media platform. So there's a tremendous amount of content that we produce that is available for free out there, and you can just learn from that. And we have what we call a free mentoring roundtable every week online. We run it on the WebEx platform, and entrepreneurs from all over the world join into that platform, and that happens every week, and we have had over 60,000 people participate in those. And that's, we have like a 30-minute talk show segment, this kind of thing. And then we have entrepreneur pitches, which are kind of working sessions where I work with them on their strategy. So that's the online mentoring for free. Beyond that, if entrepreneurs want to take the next step with us, we have 1 Million by 1 Million Basic, which is a curriculum-only program. And for that, the monthly subscription fee is $99 a month. And then we have our full acceleration program, which is 1 Million by 1 Million Premium, and that is a $1,000 annual membership fee. So our philosophy is it's a complete democratization of entrepreneurship incubation, acceleration, and education. So anyone from anywhere in the world, as long as you're working within the domain of technology and technology-enabled services, you can use the 1 Million by 1 Million program and learn. And we've priced it so that all geographies can afford it. So we do have America still, the US, North America is still our biggest geography, but we have very big adoption in India. India is an incredibly hungry entrepreneurial ecosystem at the moment, and we have very big penetration into that market, and we priced it so that the Indian entrepreneurs can afford it. That's the business model. We also work with corporates. We have corporate partners where we run their incubation programs, and that model is called Incubator in a Box, the 1 Million by 1 Million Incubator in a Box, and that's, companies are using that to run their incubation acceleration programs.
That's a fascinating, basically the community that you've been able to create with very cost-effective, free and a nominal cost, and then it's We're touching over 500,000 people now. So it's very, quite a substantial community. In just about a couple of years ago, LinkedIn named me one of their top 10 influencers. Number 1 was Bill Gates, number 2 was Richard Branson, and I was number 10. That really helped us with the distribution. So today I have over 350,000 followers just on the LinkedIn influencer platform. Those kinds of,
recognition, acknowledgement has helped us distribute the program very broadly.
In addition to, you use WebEx, but in addition to that, you have conferences where people can come and attend. And
so we have recently started, just last fall, we started this thing called rendezvous, in-person rendezvous. We do those at Cafe Boroni in Menlo Park. So once a week, we just get together and have coffee with whoever shows up. And that's been very nice. We see a lot of interesting companies through that program and gives us an opportunity to touch base in person as well.
now I understand that at certain points, you'll help entrepreneurs receive funding.
Yes.
And you have a pretty good track record of their success rate in funding.
Yeah, so I will say this though. We do not insist that you have to raise funding. And this is a big differentiator between us and any other incubator or accelerator, which is the gap that I saw out there is most incubators and accelerators are working as feeders into the venture capital ecosystem. We are not. We are okay with you wanting to build your company without any external financing because we are not counting on taking equity in your company. That is not our business model. As I just explained to you, our business model is not based on taking 6 to 10% or 15% equity in your company as part of our, participation in your ventures. And we are, as a result, we have democratized, we are allowing everybody the opportunity to study in the program. However, equal opportunity does not mean equal outcome, right? Just because you're in the 1 million by 1 million program doesn't mean that you can get funded. And it also doesn't mean that we are going to introduce you to investors. We will introduce you to investors if we deem your business fundable. And there's a big difference between fundable businesses and businesses that need to be built organically in a self-financed manner. And we believe that a company that takes 5 years to get to, $2 million or 10 years to get to $5 million is still a success. As long as it's a profitable business, it, creates livelihood for a bunch of people, solves a good problem, has good customers, we consider that a success. Our definition of success in entrepreneurship is customers, revenues, and profits. Financing is optional. Exit is optional. That's the philosophy of the program.
Sramana, I need to take a quick break.
Sure.
And I'm busy here today with Sramana Mitra, and we'll be right back after these messages. Since you can't take your wealth with you, spend time with your family. Welcome back. I'm visiting today with Sramana Mitra, and she's the founder of 1 Million by 1 Million, which is in a mentoring relationship. Her company helps entrepreneurs get to the next level.
First and only global virtual accelerator in the world. We work almost exclusively with technology and technology-enabled services entrepreneurs. So that is one thing that I have to, share with you, in that we are not the place for example, drug discovery companies, pharma companies trying to do drug discovery. We are not the right accelerator for you. We don't have the expertise here for that.
Let's jump into some of the case studies and companies that you
Yes,
work with. What are some of your
absolutely.
favorite stories?
So I probably should start with the one that is the biggest in our portfolio. So we started I think we launched 1 Million by 1 Million in November of 2010. And in April 2011, a company came into the portfolio. At the time, it was called Fresh Desk. Today, it has changed its name to Freshworks. This company, we helped them raise their first round of funding and coach them through that early stage process. And it was in the program for 3 years after that. The company today has more than 100,000 customers, has raised $149 million in funding, and has done very well. It's a customer support software as a service. So cloud services, customer support. So that's, kind of like these outlier of the charts, high level of success, very large amount of funding. Our philosophy, however, because we're trying to do 1 million by 1 million, is to do capital efficient ventures. So it's not like if you are part of 1 million by 1 million, we'll constantly push you to raise money. That's not what we're going to do. So let me give you a completely different kind of example.
Okay.
So just this December, we are right now in March of 2018, December 2017, during the holidays, I had two of our entrepreneurs who have been in the 1 million by 1 million program for several years each come visit me at home in Menlo Park. One of them is based in Calcutta. The other one is based in Menlo Park. Each of these, in 2007, have hit 10 million in revenue with no outside financing. And that's really exciting. So the reason this is important, and they will always tell you that these companies are constantly being steered towards financing. Everybody wants them to raise money, or it's like they kind of dismiss these companies that, oh, you haven't raised money. Why should we take you seriously? The company is doing $10 million in profitable revenue. What is there to dismiss them about? So this kind of stuff really maddens me, absolutely maddens me. I was talking to an entrepreneur, a woman who has built a company that does $5 million in revenue, and it has taken her a while to build this company, and she was very apologetic. She was like, I'm just doing $5 million in revenue. And I'm like, are you profitable? She said, yeah, I've been profitable all along because we're a bootstrap company. We have to be profitable. And I said, why are you apologizing? You're running a $5 million profitable company. You're catering to a set of customers that are happy with what you're offering them. Why are you apologizing? So there's a lot of myth and a lot of garbage in the industry about that you have to raise money and financing equals success. We are completely opposed to that point of view, that worldview. We believe entrepreneurship equals customers, revenues, and profits. Financing is optional. Exit is optional.
Now, you have quite a few mentors that are stepping in and helping. I believe in the first segment you mentioned 800.
So the way we do the bringing in the knowledge of these, successful people who have done it before. Very long ago, when I started, actually before I started 1 million by 1 million, there was a body of work that I had started doing in 2006. 1 million by 1 million was not launched until 2010. In 2006, I started writing on my blog a series called Entrepreneur Journeys, where I would invite entrepreneurs to come and tell their stories in gory details, like how did you put one foot before the other? Where were you born? Where were you raised? What kind of circumstances? All the ways, like how did you put one foot before the other? And these stories became very popular. And soon after, I started publishing them as books. So I've now published 12 volumes of Entrepreneur Journeys books. Each of them have 12 to 16 case studies and my analysis of what is interesting about these stories. And each of them double-click down on a particular topic. So there's a book called $1 Billion Unicorns, where you can read about a bunch of unicorn entrepreneurs who have built, $1 billion plus market cap companies and their journeys. How did they put one foot before the other? How did they tackle all the different strategy challenges that come up? All this is available in the 1 million by 1 million curriculum. We interview them constantly in our roundtables and mentoring sessions and so forth. But it's not that you are constantly sitting down with these people. You are learning from a body of work that is available to you, accessible to you from anywhere in the world at any time you want to access them. So that's the philosophy of mentoring. I do the in-person project-based mentoring. I do those myself, but they're in roundtable formats. So every week you have roundtables where you can come and share your project and we work together. These are working sessions and they're case study-based learning philosophy. So people who are listening are also learning through that interaction.
Is there a common characteristic or trait with those who reach great success versus those who don't?
Of course, there's a lot of X factor in this business, but in studying all these entrepreneurs that we both have as mentors, case studies, etc., and also the ones that we have mentored ourselves all these years. This is now our 8th year of being in business with 1 million by 1 million. The one theme, the one mantra that I want to leave your audience with is bootstrap first, raise money later. Because today there's a bunch of trends that are out there which you need to take into account. One of them is starting companies have become a lot cheaper. So you can get much further than you could earlier, 20 years ago or 15 years ago. It was much harder to get that far in a capital efficient way. Today it is much easier. So you can get to a lot of validation, and as a result, the investors are looking for you to come to them with a very validated, deeply validated idea or business. So they want to see that you have talked to customers. In some cases, some investors want to see already revenue, paying customers, etc. People have different sweet spots. So right off the bat, if you can mitigate the risk of getting, if you are in the funding track, if you can mitigate the risk of getting to that level of funding with more validation, it will, probability wise, you're basically increasing your probability of success. Now, example, we have a company that has been in our program. So they came in 4 years ago, learned the methodology, went out and executed for a couple of years, got customers, got revenues, came back in, and right now this company is going into funding. I have introduced them to 40 investors, and they have heard back from 30 of those. They've already had 20 meetings. This is a very high rate of hit rate. Why? Because they followed exactly that bootstrap first, raise money later mantra. 2017, with no external financing, they did 1.2 million in revenue. In 2018, they're forecasting $3.5 million in revenue, and they already have close to $1 million in bookings, and we are only in March. So this kind of a situation gives you a much higher level of probability of being able to raise money than if you came in with, no customer, just a concept and so forth. Concept financing has almost gone out of the window at this point. I was an entrepreneur in the .com era as well. At that time, people were funding concepts. I got a concept funded, but that's not happening anymore. We're just in a very different world of entrepreneurship. At the same time, there's a lot more money in the system. There are, in the last 5 years, there are 500 to 700 micro VCs that are operating in the broadly what we call seed ecosystem. Now, seed spans a lot of things. It's pre-seed, seed, post-seed, pre-series A, small series A. All of that kind of falls in seed because the traditional VCs, the larger VCs, the Kleiner Perkins, the Sequoia, the Andreessen Horowitz, they want to do larger size Series A's. They want to do 5 to 7 million, even 10 million Series A's. To qualify for a 5 to 10 million Series A is a very, you have to have a much more mature company with much, much stronger metrics. Getting there is not that easy. So you could be doing 5 rounds of financing before getting to Series A. So there's a whole complex evolution that you are dealing with right now. And you have to figure out what is your definition of success in that. So one way to do it, if you want to raise money and go that route, is to do bootstrap first, raise money later. Another way to do it is do it very capital efficient and seek early exits. That's another way that a lot of companies succeed, because if you look at the vast pool of exits that happen in the industry, they are in the 50 to 60 million or lower. The 100 million, 200 million, 500 million, billion-dollar exits are few and far between. So again, probability. If you want to build a company for $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, and sell the company for under 50 million, sometimes under 20 million, that is also success. So you have to our philosophy is we're broadening the definition of success. We're looking at all these different angles in the 800 plus success stories. They're all flavors of success. There's a company in Indiana that's doing a virtual company. The guy bootstrapped with a paycheck. He kept his day job and he built this company. Now they have about 50 people, but the 50 people are not in Indiana. There are like 10 people in Indiana. 50 people are all over the world. He's doing a virtual company and they're already at 5 million in revenue. And, again, it's a success. To me, that's a success.
How does an individual sign up for your services?
Go to the website, 1M by 1M. So the number 1, the letter M, BY, the number 1, the letter M.com, 1M by 1M.com. And then everything is there. You get the full description of the program. There's lots of content, FAQs, video FAQs, and you can sign up right there.
Sramana, I really appreciate you being on today's show, but we've run out of time.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Alan.
So thanks for joining us here on American Dreams, and join us next week right here on this station.